The two main things that entrepreneurs do that other people do not do. Artificial intelligence will not take any jobs away. Like computers never took any jobs away. People who learn artificial intelligence, if we want people to trust us, we must trust them.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Business Narrative. And today we are here again with Ziad Khan. He has been mentoring thousands of startups from over many years. And today we will be going to discuss like how he has helped those startups to grow and scale up their businesses in multiple fields.
Thank you, Arham. It's been a pleasure, and peace be upon everybody. Walaikum assalam. It's been a very fulfilling experience speaking with you the last time. Thank you.
Ziad, my first question is you have worked with more than 1,200 startups, right? Like, what was the common pattern among all those startups who got success, who have scaled up with passage of time? So, what was the common pattern? And those startups who could not achieve their goals, financial goals, or their short-term goals, what was the common pattern among them? Like, I want to know the both sides of the picture.
1200s are the startups which we did only for incubation center. Other than that, I have mentored and coached numerous entrepreneurs and business people, aspiring entrepreneurs. And I told you last time that women empowerment and women entrepreneurship is one of our key areas of work. So most of them have been women. Now, we must understand as humans, as believers, that our existence is based on four factors, or four elements are involved in that: our body, mind, our spirit, and all of these together jointly make what we call is our aura. Okay. Likewise, we also discussed that there are five different factors that affect our existence, what we are today: our genetic loading, whatever our parents gave us, our upbringing, how we were brought, in which environment, by which kind of parents, with whom we were brought up. And then our schooling and our education plays a great role in that, the circumstances in which we grow. Fourth thing is the effort that we make. When we start, growing from young boys and girls into uh, adults, whatever efforts we make, our identity, search for identity, our aspirations, our goals. And the fifth factor is unknown factor, which we call luck or fortune or God or universe, all of that. So these are all these things which affect us every single day that we live, every decision that we make, every step that we take in life. These things affect us. Now, among all of these things, the most important, the super element is here, is our brain, our spirit, our body, our character, our aura, our existence is all dependent on this. And it has been studied and said, of course, we cannot confirm it, but whatever science can project and extrapolate, that we don't use even 10% of our brain power. The most intelligent people have not used that. This is very, very, very important for us to understand. So, and what happens is when a child is born, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that the child is born free and innocent. From that point, the society, the shackles, the boundaries, the limitation that we have set, all of us work to make that child uninnocent and unfree from very beginning. It's very, very important to understand for all of us. There has been research about this, that from the conception until a child is 3 years old, whatever that child hears in the womb of her or his mother, that profoundly impacts them. When parents read books to their children, even when they are in mother's womb, These children are 30 to 45% more perceptive. They comprehend better, their vocabulary is better, their understanding is better as compared to those children whose parents do not do that. Now, fast forward to it. We don't have too much time and I talk too much. So, fast forward to entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship, in fact? What is the difference between other people and entrepreneurship, or even business owners and entrepreneurship? What is the difference? The two main things that entrepreneurs do that other people do not do. Entrepreneurs think out of the box. Now, how do we think? Use our brains. Entrepreneurship is built in your character by all the 5 factors that I mentioned earlier. And the power is in the brain. They think out of the box. They break those chains, shuru se, from the very childhood that we instill in children. Don't do this, don't say this, don't talk in front of others, don't ask questions, don't walk, don't touch. All of these things restrict us. The very, very few parents who do not do it. And ever since the dawn of this gadget world, parents get rid of children, don't want to pay attention to them. They just give them gadget and tell them, go play, go leave me alone. Don't talk in grown-ups or don't be around grown-ups. And then kids do what they do. So these entrepreneurs are people who think out of the box, who break these shackles and limits. They are beyond, no, this cannot happen, this cannot be done, this, They are always thinking about, how can this be done? They already believe this can be done. Second thing that entrepreneur does and other people don't do is they take risks. That's why it's an enterprising venture. They enterprise into. Their thinking is different. They take risks the others do not. These are the two very important things that entrepreneurs have. Now, all the other things, the morality, the value system, the integrity, the character, they are part of our personalities or our societies as they're built. So I think that, the people, the 1,200 people who come to us at different times in different incubation centers, they wanted, they wished, they dreamed to have a business, to want to do business. They come up with ideas which they think are unique to them. These are exciting ideas which nobody may have those. They come with that. 90% of them do no homework at all, like zero homework. I give you a couple of stories of the African boy and Pakistani lady who was holding 12 years that we should. These things make you sad and these things make you wonder. It takes 10 minutes to get on internet with your idea, sit there. And now with artificial intelligence, it has become so much easier. Before you could search, now you could search, get the information, put it together, formulate it the way you want it, modify it from all over the world. Like trillions and trillions of the sources of data that exist from there, it can bring it at your fingertips. You would not sit and do research for 10, 15 minutes on your idea. Chances are you will never be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs burn midnight oil. They stay up late and they sit and they think and they do things and they reiterate and they refine and they keep working on this. They don't sit and wait for others. And many of these people, like a large number of these people, they sit and wait for money. They have an idea and they wait for money. They do nothing in between, no preparation, no research, no work, no reaching out to no going to places where other entrepreneurs sit. no benefiting from those who have already done it. They may have failed or succeeded, but they have done it. So that's the difference between the people who have made it and who have not made it. The people who become successful entrepreneurs are not extraordinarily smart or intelligent people. They're not. They may happen to be smart or extraordinarily intelligent otherwise, but the entrepreneurial venture requires them to follow certain paths, do certain things. As I said, starting from research, taking initiative, reaching out to people who have done it, who could be helpful at that, sitting in circles which can add value to it. These are the things entrepreneurs do differently. Success meets them. And they're never wavered by failure. And failure comes in many ways. Like you sit in your idea for a long time, your team left you, some natural calamity happened, something happened that made you fail from accomplishing that one particular goal that you set out to. They're unwavered. They're never affected. If at all, it raises them. They come with more passion, more energy to do that or something else. So that's what in my opinion, my experience is the difference.
Ziad, AI is a buzzword nowadays, and I have discussed this topic with many of our entrepreneurs from every field, and I got different answers. So, like, what is your take on it? And what is one biggest mistakes CEOs or founders do when they are trying to shift towards AI technology? Like, what are some common mistakes you have seen over the years?
Okay, so I've always told my students or my mentees or entrepreneurs who come to us that if a term is very complex or if it doesn't make sense to you immediately, read it backwards and it will start making sense. Intelligence there is artificial. Artificial means made by man. Natural intelligence brought artificial intelligence to us. And artificial intelligence existed for a long, long time in the form of neural networks or decision support systems or even spreadsheets. If you look at spreadsheet is an extremely intelligent and extremely powerful software that provided a lot of those features that artificial intelligence excelled in now. Now, when something becomes a buzzword or something is hyped that much, that you want to just think that, okay, this thing will solve all my problems. Artificial is not a problem solver on its own. Artificial will not do or give anything on its own. Everything has to be done by humans. Even if it's a command or a prompt, as we call it when we are dealing with chat agents, then it has to be formulated or developed by humans. And if you're using a prompt agent, there's so many prompt agents which write prompts for you, you need to give them input, which means the thought process, the mind behind it is yours. If you use 10 different artificial intelligence engines or platforms, from Perplexity to ChatGPT, OpenAI, or Meta, or Gemini, or Copilot from Microsoft, or IBM Watson, and give them the same input, they will come up with different output. It's fascinating. 10 people sitting in a place or different places, you give them same input, they will come up with a different output. Their output will never be identical. Same thing for artificial intelligence. You give the same input to artificial intelligence, they will come up with different outputs. How is that different from humans? Of course, they do computational faster and they do more complex computations, and which starts fascinating us. But it again goes back to human mind and human intelligence. So my point in this is that artificial intelligence is another, phenomena that people are going crazy about. So many are scared that artificial intelligence will take their jobs away. And I don't know if we talked about this in the last segment, that artificial intelligence will not take any jobs away. Like computers never took any jobs away. The people who knew computers, who learned computers, took jobs from people who refused to learn computers. Likewise, for artificial intelligence will only create opportunities. It will not reduce opportunities. People who learn artificial intelligence, and I can tell you, most of the people who may claim to have used artificial intelligence have just used a chat bot. They just interacted with a chat bot and got some fascinating answers, and they got excited that, oh my God, I'm using artificial intelligence. It's not different from social media. People who use social media, they post something there and they consider that, oh, I am social media expert or something. You're not. Likewise, if you're using a chat bot, you don't become an artificial intelligence expert. Consider this like electricity. We use electricity. We do not become electrical engineers or electricians or electricity experts. We know how to press switches and turn this, or maybe we change a bulb, light bulb or something. We can do that. But we don't become an expert at that. Likewise, artificial intelligence, think of it as a tool, as a support, very powerful, but still a support to your whatever you want to do, whatever your idea is. Eventually, you control it. You control the results, you control the successes, you control the failures. So, entrepreneurs who are getting carried away by artificial intelligence must keep these things in mind. It's like a very powerful gun. You can shoot yourself in your foot, because artificial intelligence still has, long way to go in terms of accuracy and in terms of consistency.
Mhm. Okay, absolutely. But now I want to know, like, it's very difficult for an entrepreneur or for a CEO to maintain the decorum in within the organization, right? So, like, how they can build transparency, trust, and a healthy culture within the organization. Doesn't matter organization is local, international. So, like, what is your key suggestions to all the founders out there?
My faith tradition, Islam, says that whatever you give to others, whatever, good, bad, evil, ugly, whatever you give to others, you get 10 times of that now and 70 times hereafter. Okay, you don't trust a person, you get 10 times of that. It means 10 people do not trust you because you sowed the seed, you laid the foundation. I give you example of Imran Khan. Imran Khan is famous for trusting people. He's very famous. He himself used to say that, my mother used to say that, what will become of this boy? He just trusts everyone. But look at him. He is one of the most towering personalities of this time. Why? Because he gave whatever he could give, however he could give to people. We must learn this thing, that if we want people to trust us, we must trust them. Trust is built over time, and you can never command or demand trust. You can never. That's why I'm so much, concerned about when people say, trust me. Building trust is a process that spans over time, and it starts with us. If I don't want to share my ideas or details with my team, necessary details, not everyone should know everything. It's unnecessary information overload. But if someone should know something and I don't trust them. See, I don't have in Peace University, I do not bind my team members to a time schedule. I tell them that I want this thing done. Do whenever you want to do it. Just do that. As long as it's done, I don't care if you were here and you clocked in at 9 o'clock or not. We're not gerbil. We are not mice. We are humans. We work differently. And I want people to focus, be independent, take the lead, become leaders, and do their work. Do not become clerks. That is colonial mindset. Colonizers did not want colonized people or slaves to think, take initiatives, or lead. That has to change. If you want to build trust, you need to come out of, break that shackle. Being an entrepreneur, the most important thing is you need to start looking at the word impossible as not impossible, but I am possible. I am doable. There's nothing that is not possible. You can do that. It may take a while. And my life is full of examples. I can give you so many examples from my experience, not hearsay, not observations, not what I read, from my experience. When you're a believer, you already have set an example of trust. You trusted that invisible power. You trusted the invisible powers, Allah, we call Allah, God. Different religions or different faiths have different name for it. The word that comes to you, you trust that. You trust the messenger who brought that word. When you start that, when you lay your foundation in that way, your journey of trust begins from there. And that's how you build it. And I can give you so many examples. Last time also I told you that as a believer, I believe that Allah has fixed whatever is yours. Your blessings and bounties are set aside for you. Nobody can take it. You can use legitimate means or illegitimate means for that. It's yours. You will not get more than that if you use illegitimate means or legitimate means. So if you have that faith and you have that trust in your God and your abilities, you will get that. So why resort to illegitimate means? There is no reason to do that. There is no reason. The very foundation or basic tenet of our law is innocent until proven guilty. Law gives us this provision, this opportunity to trust until they give you a reason not to trust. And there is no magic to it, Aram. There's no magic to building a society, building a community, building a family. It's a process that happens over time. And as a leader, you must set that example that I do this, now I expect you to do this. You can't do this like I do that, but I want you to do this. You cannot do that. You could be different in terms of work. Like there may be a person who joined you 5 years later. They're junior to you in terms of timeline. They may be more intelligent than you. You may be more experienced, but that doesn't make you a demigod of some kind that you start, doing those things to where you break your trust. They must trust you as the senior team member, as the leader, to make progress in that. So it's a process and you must build it. You must take the lead. That's bottom line.
As an entrepreneur, the most challenging thing is to work with uh, the latest generation, and the latest generation is Gen Z, right? There is a 30 years, 20 years gap between founders and Gen Z. So like how today's leaders, like if they are millennials, right? So how they can maintain their leadership style to attract Gen Z?
I think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the humanity a provision that its genetic material and its abilities keep refining and getting better all the time. Every new generation that comes with better and better material. Hazrat Ali Razillah Ta'ala anhu, Karamallah Wajhu, has said that every new child that is born brings the message that Allah is still hopeful about humanity. Allah is not disappointed by it. Every new child that comes brings something new to this world. From baby boomers to Gen Zers, if you see, there's a huge difference. I feel that millennials were very practical people and Gen Zers are even more practical than them. Since the way we do things have changed, and they change very, very rapidly, and world has become more, evolved as before it was. So it is very difficult for people to cope with things. Things were changing very, very slow. The generation gap was, I don't know, before, I don't know, in prehistoric times, maybe it was hundreds of years. But I've seen that generation gap was 30 years. If you were not 30 years apart, you could easily understand what the other person was saying. But now the generation gap is come down to probably 10 years. In 10 years, you don't understand what the next generation is saying. You are kind of outdated. There's so much information coming in. Peace University, we are running a program for volunteers right now, and artificial intelligence is a core part of it. In one batch, I have participants who are in their late 40s. In the same batch, I have participants who are, the youngest participants, 12-year-old. You can clearly see the difference between their thinking and the way of doing the work. The same subject, the same class, the same university, but they are approaching it very, very differently. The 12-year-old is unparalleled in her thinking and in her working and her using artificial intelligence. I cannot use it with that. I can snub her. I can, suppress her. I can overpower her in some way, but I can't compete with her. And there is no need to compete. We must learn to understand one of the tenets, core principles of Peace University, when I was telling you last time, when I found it was coexistence, that we must support each other's existence. And as an entrepreneur, I've always believed that we have shifted from a competitive economy to a collaborative economy. Globalization has increased. I am talking to you, you are sitting in a very different time zone, in a very different place, but we are conversing like we are here together. I mean, how wonderful and fascinating is that? We have a generation gap, but we can communicate because we are open, we have put our guards down, we want to do that, and that's what people of different generations need to do that. You see, there are two things happened universally in our lifetime, which have changed the way we think and we do things. First was 9/11. When September 11, 2001 tragedy happened, that not only shook the world, it changed people to think differently and do things differently. That's when I decided to form Peace University. Second thing that happened was COVID. When COVID occurred, everything changed for everyone. The second time in less than 20 years. We must think differently. Now, virtual world is actually a real world. You sitting anywhere working together, COVID has made that a norm, a necessity. And it showed the benefit. By the way, I was living that life before, much before COVID. Don't rush. Don't become part of that rat race. Don't compete with each other. Don't take their space. In America, if you see, I live in Washington, D.C. metropolitan. It's crazy. 4:30 or 5 a.m., people start getting on highways and highways start choking. People have coffee. Some are shaving in their cars, rushing to their work. And 3 o'clock, it again starts that. 50 minutes is basic commute time in Washington, D.C. metropolitan area each way. So 2 hours of your time you spend on the road, either stuck in the traffic, inhaling those gas fumes, and then 8 or 10 hours you are at work. That's 10 hours of your life gone. There's so many parents who have not seen and kids who have not seen each other in daylight. I mean, what kind of life is that? Now, what COVID did is COVID changed that. if you have heard of COVID divorces, so many, and it's so sad. It's a Shakespearean tragedy and comedy together. So sad and so funny that so many people married for years or probably decades spend that much time together by compulsion that they said, this man or this woman have been living with this. So COVID divorces became a phenomena. Can you believe that we let this happen by choice? Some people say it's by design because that's how system is and that's how it does. But we built that system. We let that happen. So wrapping this point up, millennial, Gen Zers, baby boomers, all those people, they all must open up. They break their shackles, their thinking. They must open and start accepting each other. That's how you see this cell phone. This is so powerful, so powerful. I started using computer in 1981. Computer used to be this big. I was 17 years old. There was no hard disk. You have to use a floppy disk to boot the computer. There was no operating system then. So, all right, so every time, but that may be because I got the opportunity. I had an uncle who was in Saudi Arabia. He brought that. So I was able to use it. So many people who may have been smarter, like Imran Khan says that all the time. He says, I was not the most talented cricketer, but he worked harder. My 5 other siblings, 6 including sister, had the same opportunity. They may not have shown that interest in there. So it is opening up yourself to listening to others, starting a dialogue, exchanging ideas, reaching out to understand, not reaching out to snub or reaching out to tell them. We're always telling others what to do or how to do it. We don't listen. One of the greatest quality of leaders is active listening. We must listen to each other to understand. We can't understand by just talking. So once you start listening to others and spending a little bit of time in understanding that, then the word becomes better automatically. Other than Peace University, I have a private equity firm which builds housing and which does real estate work. We have a full real estate platform, right? So we are working on intergenerational campus housing, Peace University campus, and build intergenerational houses. I'm very impressed by tiny homes movement and container homes, which are different kind of homes. These are not the homes that we've been living in for centuries. And tiny homes is a concept, and I am so impressed by it because it has such flexibility and it is always open to innovation. You can bring any innovative idea and incorporate into that. Okay. So we are building intergenerational housing in the university campus. What it does is it brings 3 generations of humans together. They don't have to be grandson, granddaughter, or grandmother and father. They could be from 3 generations, grandfather or grandmother of someone, mother and father of someone, and child of someone. But these 3 represent 3 generations. Okay. So we are working to provide accommodation to retired seniors who have worked all their life, acquired skills, wisdom, experiences. So they live in those houses and they interact with younger people and they offer them their wisdom. They teach in classes. They don't have to pay anything for living in those houses other than teaching those kids. And they come into common areas by default. They must interact with each other. They are interdependent in terms of living with each other. They're not exclusive. You don't separate them. If you want to separate them in a house, most houses in Washington, D.C. area are 3-level houses. You make basement either to hide from the rest of your family or to exclude a member of your, like, go in the basement and play there. You get rid of your children. Yeah, like, go. So in one house you can create that generational gap if you want to. And if you want to reduce that or fill that generational gap, you can bring that. So build deliberate housing, deliberate communities, virtual communities where these different generations interact and understand each other, and start listening to them. If I don't listen to you, I will not understand how you think. If I form an opinion about you or I make decisions about you without understanding you, that will be a big fallacy. And we will, build a world that is not kind, that is cruel, that is unjust, unfair, because we don't even understand each other. So that's what I think about generation. And I think that millennials and Gen Zers are a lot more practical than us. They're living in more, sustainable, better houses. They're not wasting their money on housing space, which is useless. They have no shame in living with parents. So many after COVID, so many people came and they started living with parents in America and Canada, even though it was, people used to shamed who were living with their parent. Like, "Oh, you still live with your parents?" And this was a corporate consumer American mindset. Like, as soon as you grow, you must get out and you must buy your own car and you must rent your own apartment or buy your house and you must become a consuming member of society. Now they live together. They understand each other better. Kids see how their parents live. Their expenses are fewer. The stress is less. Of course, there are exceptions. People fight and they don't, coexist very well. But largely, it's a big blessing that people have. So we must open ourselves to listening and understanding each other better.
Now I will going to detrack you a little bit because we have a surprise rapid fire round, and I will going to ask you some rapid fire questions and you have to answer them very quickly, Ziad. Morning bird or night owl?
No labels, sir. Some days very early, some days very late. It depends on how the previous day went.
Favorite destination for holiday?
I don't have favorite destination. I have favorite people. My holiday is with people, wherever I am.
I think you are a book lover as well, so I want to ask you this: like, what was the last book you read, and what was the message you get from that book?
I actually, I've last book, the last great book I read was Outliers. The message was that uh, we need to understand patterns and we need to understand people who lie outside those patterns. All the great things, all of them in this world are done by unusual people. Ordinary people, usual people living in their comfort zone hardly ever do anything extraordinary. All these advancement in life, all these changes that have come because of people who were not ordinary. They seem weird, they seem crazy, people have treated them very, very badly. We don't accept them easily. Anybody who brings a different message or change, we don't, they're outliers. So this book talks about, this is by Malcolm Gladwell, and everyone should read this book. It's a wonderful book. It's available online as well. It's available in audiobook as well. So it's very nice book. And it tells you what we started from. Like, you need to break your shackles, break your chains, think differently, be an outlier. If you have time, I can give you a quick example, but it's rapid fire, so I don't want to take that, but another time.
Any application that is improving your productivity on daily basis?
No, it's no application. Every time it's my thought process. I have to, applications are like cars, no car will make your journey. It will make a little bit comfortable, definitely, but you chalk out your journey. You have to decide where are you going, when are you going, etc. So no application.
But lastly, Ziad, do let me know any decision of yours in the past you regret?
I don't regret, but I sometimes think that if I have an opportunity to make the decision or choice again, I would do it very differently. So there are no regrets in life. I love the way I live and the things that I did, the mistakes I made. I would not have made these mistakes if I have to do that again, but I did those and time never comes back. So no regrets, sir.
So this is the end of a rapid fire round. We had a lot of things to discuss, yeah, but we have a time limit. But I think your insights are very helpful for me and for other entrepreneurs who are watching this. So if you like the podcast, do subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and share it with your friends who are in growing stages, who want to scale up their business. That this podcast will going to help you a lot. We will be going to meet you in the next podcast with another exciting guest. Till then, take care. Bye bye.